Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good evening, everybody. It is the 27th of May and we had this is really, honestly, probably the most bizarre day I've ever seen. I'm always tend to be caught off guard by reversals. Or, well, let's not say reversals, but days where we have a move really far one way and then move really far back the other way. And, I did okay because I sold on the open and then I was just done. But in the afternoon, we just had this absolutely miraculous, so incredibly odd move compared to some, recent actions. So let me show you why. Let's come over here. And we'll go through the headlines and the context and everything like that, right? So coming into today, stocks were higher overnight over news of a $750 billion stimulus package coming from the European Union. Came out and we were opening at 3,030, which I thought was a silly price, but that's where we're at. However, sentiment quickly changed. Secretary of State Pompeo was declaring that Hong Kong was no longer autonomous from China. So this is important because this could affect Hong Kong's special trade status. And it definitely led to a sell-off. There was quite a bit of selling on there, and we were down a good 70 points. Now, something I want to point out here on the footprint chart that I'm looking at is that the distributions here on this move were significantly different from what they were in the past. So before we would see like just absolutely insane amounts traded at like one specific price, but now we're seeing them across pretty wide ranges of like 10 points or more. Absorption, 10,000 contracts at every price traded and then back up. Now, in the end, though, it doesn't look like that the sellers really held on to it. So not really a lot of evidence that the long-term holders were bailing, and the traders, they took it short and then they got out of their positions. And the move up, actually, when you look at the cumulative delta, you can see here, we started the day 8,000. We went negative. Here that's negative 29. And then here at the close, it's basically zero. So really, nothing happened. Well, I mean, the net positioning, I don't think changed. Just based off of that. We can go back and look at the COT reports. It's going to be interesting to see what the COT reports say. But it looks to me like in the futures that long-term positioning has not really changed. All right. Now, what could be causing the buying on the way back? Well, for one thing, there is a lot of retail investors putting money into the market right now. That is absolutely unquestionable. A lot of people opened up Robinhood account, and it's just a big thing right now. And there's probably a lot of people that don't really know what's going on, and they're putting their money at work. Now, if that's true, and I don't really know what the aggregate impact of that is, but that's certainly something that is influencing the market. But I don't know how significant their impact, then when they run out of money to continue putting into the market, we're in real trouble. But just a theory, a thought. Also, some of that capital fleeing from Hong Kong is going to come over, and where are they going to put it? In U.S. stocks. So I think that makes sense. Some other things, a little bit of data. We did see data from the Beige Book, and investors are noting that many workers appear to be reluctant come back to work, and they're not really picking the jobs up, and companies were generally overall negative. So it's uncertain how this affects the recovery as a whole, but in terms of the way that we were doing the unemployment benefits and that it would hamper recovery, that is definitely some evidence that is happening. All right. Also, I want to talk about Twitter. So yesterday, Twitter censored, well, I don't want to say censored. They marked one of Donald Trump's tweets as inaccurate. He was complaining about voter fraud, and they said that his tweet, which I would consider a prediction, and not really a factual statement, was marked as inaccurate. And he has now promised big moves coming off of it. And Twitter did not recover with the rest of the stocks. They did not. They stayed flat when the rest of the market bought up. So they seem to think that this could be a negative for Twitter, and I agree with them. I thought we'll see what kind of legal action they could do, but Twitter just made an editorial move, and I think it could have a significant impact on the future of social media. So that's a stock that we really want to watch. Also, Kamala Harris, rumored to be the top candidate, according to Fox Business. So finally, the Democrats are doing something that actually makes, to me makes sense. Kamala Harris is probably probably their strongest candidate for vice president because she has minority credentials and she's a woman, and they really want that. But she's also a serious candidate, and she's relatively young, because a lot of people are really concerned about Joe Biden being too old. So that's where we put us. This is just an insane move back up. You can notice too that the people that bought down here, they held it all the way until the close. So some big guys there buying the dip. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? After a move like that, I think people are going to be really reluctant to sell. But these are incredibly unusual moves. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that one. I've seen days like this, but just not the same thing to me. I don't know. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And, of course, if you like this content, please give it a like. Let me know down in the comments below why you think the action turned out the way that it did. I would like to continue to put effort into this, but a lot of it kind of depends on if you guys really find it useful. So if you found it useful, let me know by hitting that like button and leaving the comments below. All right. Thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. And in the meantime, stay profitable.